Hello guys, welcome to my humble YouTube channel where I bring you fanfiction that will brighten your days. Before we start, a subscribe is greatly appreciated, and don't forget to leave a like and ring the bell icon so you won't miss exciting new fanfiction stories. Spatial thanks to Diamond Wolf. Chapter 9. New World. Veyron, after telling Zonda what Violet told him, waited outside of her door instead of intruding in on her as he did last time, still petrified of the glare she gave him. Who is Rimuru Tempest for her to glare at me like that? Isn't this just a slime who borrowed the authority of the Storm Dragon? Or maybe the slime lied about the massacre being the Storm Dragon's doing and they did it. But a slime couldn't possibly get that strong. Could it? Veyron keeps thinking until the door opens, snapping him out of his thoughts. Ah, Veyron, great timing, Violet says as she peeks out of the door. What would you like me to do, my lady? Asks Veyron. Maybe I'm just overthinking things. Could you get Zonda? Requests Violet. Of course. Veyron replies, curious, as he disappears into the shadows and retrieved Zonda before returning to Violet's room. May I ask what you needed us for? Just as Violet was about to AWNSER, she stopped herself and then looked out the window into the sky as if talking to someone. Well, I guess we aren't doing that yet today, Violet mutters before continuing. Noir asked me to pay him a visit. When I finish we will meet up again, Violet declared, and then teleported to Noir. Rimuru Pav. This morning Diablo requested I meet someone, and we're going to a field out in the middle of nowhere when suddenly a small purple-haired girl appeared in front of Diablo. Noir, what do you want? Violet hissed. You seem awfully upset, and don't call me Noir as my master has given me the name Diablo and I'd like it if you used that, Diablo replied. I was about to do something that would cure my boredom, Violet says, ignoring that Noir has a master. I called you here to meet my master, Rimuru Tempest, Diablo sighed. Just that? You interrupted my fun just because of that? Violet sneered. That is not all. I would like it if you became his subordinate along with me, Diablo said while releasing some of his aura to intimidate her. I refuse. I would prefer to be beaten up for 100 years than to have a slime as my master, Violet said as she teleported away, leaving a slime with too many questions. Diablo, who was that demon? Asked Rimuru, an old comrade. Diablo sighed, but surprised she managed to get so strong in short amount of time that she could get past his detection skills. An old comrade? She looks only 15 inches, Rimuru mutters. She is much older than 15, she is as old as me, Diablo recalled. But now I am curious, she was stronger than Clayman by far. She could be trouble for the future, and she doesn't seem on the best of terms with Diablo. And what did she mean when she called him Noir? I thought he said he didn't have a name, Rimuru mumbled to himself. Master. The individual Diablo is suspected to be one of the 7 primordial demons, Raphael said telepathically. 7 primordial demons? What are they? He replied telepathically. They're the oldest and wisest demons. They're older than the true dragons in creation itself, Raphael noted. Older than true dragons? So older than Veldora? Also, was that purple-haired demon one of them? Asked Rimuru. Yes. The one known as Diablo is the primordial Noir and the purple-haired demon is primordial Violet, Raphael concluded. You said there were 7 primordial demons, right? So who are the others? The strongest primordial demon is Primordial Rouge or Demon Lord Guy. Then follows Noir, and behind him is thought to be Blanc. However, due to my calculations I suspect Violet to be 3rd strongest. However, due to insufficient information an accurate representation cannot be made. Next is John, ranked 4th, and individual Guy, Crimson Maids, Blue and Vert, Raphael concludes. Wait, so Guy is a primordial? And his maids were also primordials? Are there any more in Octogram that are primordial demons? Asked Rimuru. Negative, however individual Dino is thought to be a primordial angel, Raphael replies. That sleepy guy a primordial? I find that hard to believe. Rimuru mutters, but accept it after a while. Master? You have been silent for a while now, Diablo says as he tries to get his attention. Ah, Diablo, I was just thinking about things, but now I feel as though I understand you a little more now, Rimuru says with a wide smile. That is great, my lord, Diablo exclaims. Let's head back to Tempest for now and make sure Veldora hasn't blown anything up, Rimuru says as they both walk back to enjoy the scenery. Violet Pav. Did that Diablo really just try make me my own subordinate? That would have been weird for me, Violet mutters as she returns to find Veyron and Zonda already in her room. My lady, you're back, Zonda chimed as he and Veyron stood up from their seats. Yes. Well, what I was going to say was, when I evolved into a demon lord I gained an advanced form of spatial movement and now I can traverse through worlds. Violet exclaimed happily. That is incredible, my lady. Are you planning on leaving soon? Asked Veyron. Yes, have you got everything you want? We will only be stay for a few months since I have to return to check up on someone, Violet said while looking at the two. We're coming with you? Zonda asked curiously. Of course, it would be boring without you 2 inches, Violet replied, and the both of them packed absolutely nothing as demons require only magicules to survive. Once Violet had teleported them all, they appeared next to a mountain's base within a forest. This world has a lower amount of magicules. We will only be able to survive 3 months here, Veyron mutters as he walks around inspecting every inch. Chapter 10. Dragon Attack and Manipulation. Only 3 months. Well, at least we will have some time, says Violet as they start to walk towards the closest city, but notice that the ground suddenly starts to rumble. This guy is a weak dragon, Zonda mutters as he uses magic sense. Don't insult the poor lizard, Violet scolds jokingly. It is safe to ignore this one, Veyron says, and they all carry on walking but notice that the lizard is going the same way as them. I wonder if it's going after the city up ahead, Violet wonders as she slowly forms a smile. This dragon will be perfect for letting us in, she continues as they pick up the pace to follow it. My lady, may I ask how we're going to use the dragon? Asks Veyron. In almost all worlds dragons are known as the strongest, and so the city will be chaos and we will use that chaos to sneak in without anyone noticing. Though of course we could just hide our presence, but that would be no fun, Violet explains as the city comes into view. Are these humans cocky or just idiotic? Why did they leave the schoolyard open to the whole forest if there are dragons that roam there? Zonda mutters confused. Maybe there aren't usually any monsters and this one ran away from something, Violet concludes. That is a possibility. I didn't sense any C or above ranked monsters, Veyron continues. Oh look, there are a few humans outside doing magic, Zonda points out to the yard. I wonder if they will last, Violet continues. They also have a pet baby dragon. But the soul it holds is not its own and 5 of them aren't either, so maybe they're summons or reincarnations, Veyron finishes. Either way this will be entertaining to watch, Violet says as she pulls out a chair and popcorn from nowhere. Over to the schoolyard, the dragon had appeared out of the ground and the students are frozen from the sudden appearance. However, one of them quickly regain their composure and attacks with the rest of the students supporting him with magic. However, that still isn't enough and the boy gets pushed back but still doesn't lose hope as he keeps on attacking with his sword using mana to enhance his physical capabilities, but it still leaves but a scratch on the scales. The dragon swipes its claws downwards, forcing Boy to jump to the side but trips in doing so. QND just as the dragon was going for the kill, a baby dragon appeared behind the adult dragon, biting into its neck and ripping off a large chunk of skin, and uses its claws to scratch the eyes, making it blind, and with it flailing the baby dragon is thrown off, but it charges back in and kills it in one fell swoop by cutting its throat. That was quick, Violet says in a bored tone and stands up. Suddenly blood and scratches appear all over her body. My lady, may I ask why you're using illusion magic? Asks Veyron. I have a better idea than sneaking in, Violet replies with a wide grin. The boy has the potential to become this world's equivalent to a hero, and he also has a pure heart and would likely come to help us should he find us with such major injuries, she finishes. So you're going to manipulate your way in? Zonda said, almost chuckling. Exactly. Well, you two better put your illusions on. I am spreading the scent of blood their direction, Violet declared as lays down and the other two follow suit. Schlain. Is that how you spell it? Pav. After the battle with the dragon we all were about to celebrate when we smelt blood coming from the forest. Worried, we ran over to find a little girl and 2 older men all bruised and scratched, with the little girl bleeding immensely from the head. We brung the 3 over to the school to be checked upon by the school's nurse, who called in medical mages to help. Apparently their condition is stable enough to survive and will likely wake up in a few days' time. While we waited, we decided to celebrate the defeat of the dragon. However, I still couldn't stop worrying for the girl as she seemed only 12, much too young for so many injuries. The 2 men had less injuries but still enough to cause severe injury and possibly death without proper treatment. But right now I should enjoy the party. Faye. Thank you for helping me earlier. To be honest, I thought I was going to die there, Schlain said with an awkward smile to the baby dragon who was curled up on the windowsill. It was only natural. Besides, I got stronger as well, Faye relented as she turns to look at him. Do you think those three will be okay? I mean, I trust the healers, but those injuries were worse than I've ever seen, Schlein murmured with a slight look of pity in his eyes. I'm sure they will be fine. Besides, they've had 3 healers heal them at the request of Philomo's sensei, Faye reassured. She probably also felt pity and didn't want them to die, she finished. I'll try and relax a bit, but that girl was so young, Schlein mumbled. After a few hours of partying, Schlein had calmed down to a reasonable extent when the school nurse came in and announced that they had woken up and only 2 people were allowed in at once since the girl was so shy, and so Schlein and Philomos were the first to go in as the 2 people who had saved them. Are you feeling all right? Philomos tried to console as she sat down next to the bed. Yes, Violet replied simply. Well, do you want any food or water? She tried again. No thank you, Violet replied. Can I see Veyron? Violet asks SHLY. Veyron? Do you mean one of the people we found besides you? Asked Schlein. MMH, Violet mumbled agreeingly. Unfortunately, none of them have woken up yet, Schlein assented. Are they going to be okay? Violet demurred. The healers say that they will wake up in the next few days, Philomos reassured as Violet then wiggled back to bed and fell asleep without a care on the world. Violet Pav. This little girl act is not my thing. Who in hell thought this was a good idea? Shouted Violet in her mind as the author sweat buckets. Well, I guess I'll comply for now and wait until I am given permission to leave this bed. Violet sighed as she wiggled into bed and left the 2 sitting there awkwardly. For the next 2 days Violet stayed in bed. Schlein, Faye and Philomos visited twice a day to check up on her, and on the 2nd day news that Veyron had woken up reached her, and so to keep up the act she played more cheerful to the others, but inside she was dying from both boredom and embarrassment, but was soon allowed out of her bed and was excited. She was first led to the classroom as she was now a student there due to nothing about her origins being known and Philomos agreeing to pay her expenses. Today was the first day she was to be taught for the past 50.010 years. The day started as a usual school day would. The register was easy, then follows the bit that most people hate about school. Learning, however, she quickly adapted to it, and then after the first period was finished, lunch came around and she ate alone in the corner, or at least that was what she wanted, but Schlein, Carnatia, Faye and Philomos joined her in the corner to eat lunch, but she finished quickly to have some alone time away from the kids, and after a 1-hour lunch 2nd period came around and it was a combat class today, so many people had their wands with them, but for the poor students such as Violet had to take a school given one that was of poor quality. Today was to hit a target 10 meters away with your best non-fire magic attack in fear of burning the forest. Most people failed to even hit the target except for, as you may have guessed, Schlein and Carnatia, who hit the bullseye and blew the target away. Next was my turn. Not wanting to destroy the forest, I limited myself to E-ranked water magic and closed my eyes. I hit the bullseye and blew away trees for a 3 meters radius and got a jealous look from a bunch of older students. Chapter 11. Heroes Awakening and Demon Continent. This little girl did better than me. A suspected reincarnation named Hugo shouted from the front of the crowd. Hugo, calm down. I am sure you can do better next time, Philomos says, trying to calm him down. I refuse to accept that a little girl did better than me, Hugo insisted. You were simply weaker than me, so why do you cause such an uproar? Violet said in a cold voice, making them flinch in her glare. Weaker than you. In your dreams, Hugo declared as he shoot fire magic at Violet, which is instantly cancelled out by Violet's water barrier, which she created within the millisecond he shot the fireball, catching him off guard, but he charges in with his sword. Schlein, thinking Violet has no experience in hand-to-hand combat, steps on and blocks the sword with his own. Hugo, isn't that going too far? He says, pushing Hugo back. TCH, get out my way. Hugo threatened as he lunges in once again, but is held down by Philomos using her magic. Hugo, I don't want to hurt you, Philomos insisted, trying to calm him down. This world is supposed to be mine, Hugo mutters as he turns his head away. Philomos sighs and releases him. Hugo stands up and walks away back into his classroom, embarrassed by being so overwhelmed, while Violet is standing there with a straight face but is mentally dying from laughter. I'm sorry about him. He has changed, but I promise he isn't bad, Schlein apologized, while Violet simply nods unconvinced. They quickly finish the lesson and end the day there as Violet's first day at school. She then heads back to the dormitory to go rest, and does so until she notices a shift is space next to her. Knowing the magical signature, she doesn't worry. My lady, may I ask why you're acting so childish? Veyron paused. You think I want to? These children are easy to manipulate so long as you're small and cute. I bet if I turned into an ant, so long as they remember this form, they will probably trust me to the ends of the earth. Oh, how I will love to see their faces once I reveal my true personality. Violet exclaims with a wide grin. You're truly terrifying when you dislike someone, so I will simply follow your orders without question on this vacation. Veyron bowed as he returns to his bed in another room. I'm not terrifying, Violet mumbles while sliding under the covers and goes to sleep. The next day goes relatively smoothly minus the glares she revived from the other students, especially Hugo. Now it was the afternoon lectures on how magic works to heighten out understanding of it, even though I know every detail of it. Suddenly in the middle of the lecture Schlane starts to sweat profusely and falls to gather ground, gripping his head tightly. Curious, I decided to change my point of view to his site and saw that he had the notification. Due to the death of the previous hero, a new hero has been selected. Congratulations, you have obtained the rare title, Hero. Once I finished reading it, I understood why he was sweating, since earlier I heard him boast that his brother is the hero. Poor boy. Not really. He then started screaming and then fainted, so Philomos came and took him to his father, who is a high noble of the kingdom. Bored, I decided to head out into the forest to contemplate my options, so I called Veyron and Zonda to me, who quickly appeared using spatial movement. Veyron, Zonda. What should I do? I have two options. Stay here with the new hero and potentially join him since he has a high status. If I refused, he could ruin my fun. Or run away and see what this demon lord is about, Violet asks. Personally, I think we should see if this demon lord truly has the strength to claim the title, Veyron replies. I agree with Veyron on this. Zonda agrees. Right then, we will leave tonight and fly over to the demon continent, Violet declared as they head back for the last day of school. They will undoubtedly do. The day quickly passed over with no trouble, in fact less trouble since Schlane was hurt. Carnatia and Philomos stayed with him to make sure he wasn't going to die, so no one bothered me for the entire day, which was nice. Night soon came around, and so I called Zonda and Veyron back and we quickly made out escape without much trouble. We flew over the kingdom to the north where the demon continent resides and made it to the border where an old town looked to be, so we decided to make ourselves welcome in a random house as it was nearing daytime and we wanted to stay as